Good morning everyone. My name is Fathima Fidha P K, BSc Computer Science S4, roll number 16. Today I am going to present the topic switching and routing in networks. In this presentation, I will explain the concept of switching, the need for switching, types of switching techniques, functions of a switch, routing in networks, types of routing, and finally the difference between switching and routing. Switching is a technique used in computer networks to transfer data from a source device to a destination device through intermediate devices such as switches or routers. It ensures that data reaches the correct destination by selecting the appropriate path in the network. In networks that contain many devices, switching helps connect those devices and manage the flow of data efficiently. In early communication systems, every device needed a separate physical cable connection to communicate with other devices. As networks became larger, this method became expensive and difficult to manage. Switching solves this problem by allowing many devices to share the same communication network. It also helps select the best path for data transmission, improves communication speed and efficiency, and reduces the cost of network infrastructure. The working of a switch involves several steps. First, a source device sends data into the network. The data then reaches a switching device such as a network switch. The switch examines the destination address of the data. Based on this address, it forwards the data to the appropriate device or the next node. This process continues until the data reaches the final destination device. There are three main types of switching techniques used in networks. These are circuit switching, packet switching, and message switching. Each technique transfers data in a different way depending on how the communication path and data transmission are handled. Circuit switching is a technique where a dedicated communication path is established between the sender and the receiver before data transmission begins. This path remains reserved for the entire duration of communication. Circuit switching has three phases: connection establishment, data transfer, and connection termination. A common example of circuit switching is the traditional telephone network. Packet switching is a modern communication technique widely used in computer networks. In this method, the data is divided into small units called packets before transmission. Each packet contains the data along with information such as the source address, destination address, and sequence number. These packets may travel through different paths in the network and are reassembled in the correct order at the destination. The Internet uses packet switching. Message switching is a technique where the entire message is sent from one node to another without establishing a dedicated path. Each intermediate node receives the full message, stores it temporarily, and then forwards it to the next node. This process is called store and forward transmission. However, this method can cause delays because the entire message must be stored before forwarding. A switch performs several important functions in a network. It connects devices in a local area network, forwards data from one device to another, learns the MAC addresses of connected devices, and filters data so that it is sent only to the correct device. It also reduces network traffic and collisions and improves the overall speed and performance of the network. Routing is the process of selecting the best path for data to travel from a source network to a destination network. This process is performed by a device called a router. The router examines the destination IP address of data packets and decides the most efficient route to forward them through the network. Routing is very important in large networks such as the Internet. There can be many possible paths between a sender and a receiver. Routing helps determine the best path for data transmission, avoid network congestion, ensure reliable communication, and connect different networks together. The working of a router involves several steps. First, a device sends data to another device in a different network. The data is divided into packets and sent to a router. The router checks its routing table to determine the best path. Based on this information, it forwards the packet to the next router or destination. This process continues until the packet reaches its final destination. There are two main types of routing: static routing and dynamic routing. In static routing, routes are manually configured by a network administrator. In dynamic routing, routers automatically discover and update routes using routing protocols such as RIP, OSPF, and BGP. Dynamic routing is mainly used in large and complex networks. Routers perform several important functions in networking. They determine the best path for data, forward packets to the next device, connect multiple networks together, and help manage network traffic. These functions make routers essential for communication across large networks like the Internet. Switching and routing both help in data transmission, but they work differently. Switching is used to forward data within the same network and usually works inside a local area network. Routing is used to forward data between different networks. Switching uses MAC addresses and works at the data link layer, while routing uses IP addresses and works at the network layer. In conclusion, switching and routing are two important technologies in computer networking. Switching helps devices communicate within the same network, while routing helps connect different networks and send data across the Internet. Together they ensure efficient, reliable, and fast communication in modern computer networks. Thank you.